Testing audio check, 1, 2. Looks like it's working right here. Let me copy this. Let's get this going. Hey, they fixed it. It's showing thumbnails again. Thank you, Discord/YouTube API communication. Finally got it. Anthony Browning, how are you doing? Hello, hello, hello. More first impressions. Come chill. POK. What do we got here? POK what? Poke? Okay. Thank you, King Screamer. I'll check your message later on, Random Z. So yeah, been working on my game in GMS2. Follow me on Twitter if you want to be up to date on what's going on in that. I made an animation, a coin animation, today, and I've got that coded in. I'll show that off later on, but yeah, we're going to play Hero Soul. This is a Unity engine game. And I suppose it lets us use the controller. Yep. So I'll have that here. And let's go ahead and just start this. Made with Unity. Oh, I got to make sure the sound is going to be working right. Volume mixer. Might be too loud. I'm not sure. Let me open this up. And then, oops, keep this going. Make sure it's not super duper loud. Yeah, I've been good, man. This looks cool. Press any key to skip. Let's just see where it goes. Cecilia Gray. Leon Klein. I like the multiple levels of parallaxing. Reset Walker. Hello, Peter Apple. Sparrow. Hero Soul. I want to be a hero. Those eyes, though, dang. They're peering into my soul. Alright, make sure I'm in this window. Press any key to start. Up, down. Is that? Oh, it's just mouse? Settings. There's no settings. Okay. I can't continue. I suppose I can return to title and quit. Well, let's just click New Game. Choose character. Well, I guess we don't have much of a choice, do we? We have to pick this one. Cecilia Gray is our only option. 100 HP, 100 stamina, 3 mana circles. Left click to use our spear, right click to do a spear dash, and space does a move dash. Confirm. Use the space to quickly position and avoid incoming attacks. Can I like use WASD? Use WASD movement? Press A to continue? A. I'm pressing A. Press A to continue. I'm pressing A. Alright, enter. Spacebar. The guy stopped jumping. Okay, whatever. Oh god, I didn't get a chance to look. I didn't get a chance to see. Oh, these sprites are cut off. Whatever, I'm gonna just ignore that. Leon. Alright, Cecilia. We've reached the Koros Forest. Since this is a routine pathfinding request, it shouldn't be too difficult. All we need to do is find a route to the exit. Don't push yourself too hard, though. I can't take the newest guild member back to Byron in pieces. Roger. I can't help but be a little excited, though. My first request for the guild. Okay, let me see if I can just switch to my controller here. Okay. Okay, that dashes us. This feels good. This is to move. Pressing that doesn't do anything. Can't burst the Arcana? Oh, okay. Sorry for trying to burst your Arcana. A little bit of a layering thing, but it's great. Oh, apparently the layering does fix itself. Like, yep, it fixes itself. Okay. Has to go with the camera. There's like some kind of smooth movement. It fixes itself, so I'm not going to worry about that layering issue. Left trigger, hold, selects. Okay. Alright. Our quests. Journal. Arcana. Bestiary. Bestiary. I like how that works. That's kind of cool. Menu. How do I get out of the menu, though? Do I just... Oh, you just press it again. Okay. Heavy attack. Doesn't... Yeah, okay. Break level too low. Cycle card. I don't understand what I'm doing. B... Light attack. Okay. That's to use a spell. Does that not come back? Oh, it does come back. Oh, it's cooldown. Gosh, that dent is pretty strong. Break meter, you have to fill that, plus you hold this. Okay, can't use your break thing. Gotcha. Okay, that goes that. And then open inventory. Interesting. Okay, and these toggle that, alright. This is cool. Skill tree. I like how that kind of comes out real smooth. It looks nice. I don't understand this. Okay, revenge shows though. 25% chance to restore damage taken and dealing double of that damage on next attack. Does this mean I have to set one? Talents? I don't understand what is even happening here. What? Skill tree? What does this mean? What is... I don't get it. What is... I don't think this is supposed to be like this, is it? Oh, that gives me more stuff. Whoa. Is this bugged? Did I find some bugs? I'm just getting more and more magic points. Yeah, boy, give me all the magic points. I don't know. I think this is bugged, but of course I don't understand what I'm doing here. So, let me continue that. I think I can move this down. This looks right. Oops, sorry about that. Apparently I can't click out of the window. D757 Gaming, Cello, back right at you. Snooze-ish, thank you so much. Drifts on a roll with these first impressions. Ahmed Falahi looks like a beautiful game. It looks nice so far. It's kind of weird. I don't understand the menu system so far. Probably should lock skill tree until you get an explanation on the system, yeah. I think the character portrait represents the class of the skill tree. It could. I have no idea, really. We're locked to one character, so I found it odd that if we can only pick one character, why are we able to, like, cycle through these? Are we level 10? Is that why we have the first 3 rows? I don't know. I'm not even going to mess with it. I'm just going to play along, play the game. How do I get out of the menu? How do I close the menu? I'm stuck in the menu. Oh wait, what about this? Okay, use the mouse. Sure. Wait, which one is my attack again? That's attack? Okay, that's cycles through my spell. I have one spell, Firebolt. So this is to cast my spell, and then this is to do my attack. My health goes down when I swing. No, that's my health is at the top, but the number right next to health is something different. It's like your stamina or something. Okay, whatever. Let's just go up. I think the game is trying to tell us to move here. He's just fighting on his own, so there's some AI here. I like the little sound effect, that's nice. Little blop, 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 blop. How did I take damage? Looks like I got pretty beat up somehow. Go this way. The transitions seem a little weird. It's like you go to the right and then it starts to scroll, but then it zooms back to where it was. Huh? Did I step in something? Cecilia looks down at her feet. Leon, I think I might have stepped in something bad. Don't worry, it's just some slime. Oh, gross, it's warm and bubbling. Ha, you'll get used to it soon. It's sort of part of the job. Though this is way more slime than normal. Probably nothing. Let's keep going. It's a slime boss. How did I take damage? I don't even remember getting hit. And why does Leon get so much HP but I don't?
No problem.
Yeah. Can I cut these things? I can cut the grass down, okay. Can't quite break the rocks. I don't know what the little things that I'm picking up do. Yeah, the transitions are really weird, man. Yeah, combos. I got hit again? Oh, I see. This is like the transparency thing. Like when I'm behind a tree, it shows me as pink, so that it doesn't hide your character. I'm okay with that. That looks cool. You can break the tree. What? Oh. Okay. Watch the transition. Watch. Bloop. Bloop. Oh no, that one was okay. That one was alright. The particles are nice. Oh, they deal damage to you. Why is my health bar like it says like I had 100 and then it was at full, but then I took damage and it went down and it doesn't seem like the health bar is stretching properly. Is it just me? Is that an enemy? Huh. So these things, they deal damage when you open them. They're not like chests, really. They're like poison chests. See I can see our experience at the bottom. Whoa. I don't know what these little things do, though, but I did pick up some items or equipment. So wait, hold up. This one. Menu? Oh, no, not the menu. Quest? Nope. Journal? Not the bestiary either. What was it? Start? Yep, start. Okay, so this is treasure. Can be sold. This is a weapon. So do I equip it here? Equip? Okay, this one's better. What is going on with our health bar? +7 endurance, +7 vitality. Okay. Just equip. Training daggers. He can't wear those. Okay. Can I change these to anything? Oh, wait, what? Bubble. There we go. Wait, what? Select. Okay. Wait, what did I do? Oh, those are little orbs I'm picking up. Okay, wait. Did Bubble and Fire create a new spell? Okay. Rank 10. Why don't we start at 1? Why don't we start at 10? I mean, I guess that's fine. Oh no, I accidentally took my head armor off. God, I don't understand the controls very well. What happened? Did I throw it down? What happened to my head armor? Did I not have head armor? Once again, how do I get rid of the menu? I have to use the mouse and close it like that? And what happened to my headgear? And why can't I cycle through the spell I just got? I unlocked a new spell. This is so confusing. This is very jank. Okay. Right, so I got new spells, right? I got bubble, and then I have... What happened to my headgear? It just like disappeared? Didn't I have a head armor on? I felt like I did. There's a lot of interesting things to look at, but it feels clunky and unintuitive and jarring and analysis overloady. It says read the buttons next to the Arcana card. Read the buttons. Cycle cards, press to burst, and to cast. Like, yeah, I'm cycling them, watch. Let me do this, and do this, and do this, and click here. That's how you have to get out of the menu. Look, I'm cycling. Look, you see me cycling the cards? It doesn't appear that I'm cycling because they're all the same card. They're not switching. But, like, I'm cycling them. They're not... Oh, wait. Hold up. There it is. Wait, those are bubbles. Oh, wait, okay, so it cycles between the three. But how do you...
Taste the sting of destruction.
Oh, okay. You press the right button. Hidden Arcana, Cinderstorm. Okay, I'm getting it. And you have to wait for them to come back now. Alright, okay, that's fine. Ooh. I'm still a little weirded out with the health bar and why it looks like the way it does. Wait, I got damaged? Those red ones damage you? How am I supposed to know this? I'm gonna die. Where am I supposed to go? That thing grew fast. And then it died fast. How come my buddy can't pick up items? This is where I came from. It was like a big dead end or something. You have to hit the grass twice to break it. Okay. Sure, if you say so. Huh. Okay, I have a map in the top right. Let's go to the right here. I didn't realize I could go to the right until I looked at the map, but now I know I can. Just to make sure this game is complete or a demo? This is a demo. I'm pretty sure it's not done. More slime. It's gonna be a pain to clean my boots after this job. It's just as I feared. What do you mean? Looks like we're dealing with a slime king. A slime king? It's a dangerous C-rank monster. Definitely something we should avoid fighting right now. Let's report it to the guild when we're finished. Got it. Sure.
Here.
Hey. Taste the sting of destruction.
Taste the sting of destruction. Icicle barrage. That was pointless. So the red bubbles are bad bubbles. They damage. Ouch. The transfers are pretty weird. Sometimes they're very jarring, and sometimes they work right. But sometimes they, like... The code needs to be looked at. Arcana point? A boulder, a projectile, a large slow-moving boulder which damages enemies hit and carries them along while the boulder moves. Not compatible with wild magic. Okay, did that do a thing? Interact? Okay, wait. Right button? Left button? Just, what? Okay, so is that like done? I did it? I did the thing, I already got it? Do I have boulder now? Let's go here. Arcana. Can I put boulder in here? No. Major Arcana, Minor Arcana 1, Minor Arcana 2. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I'm supposed to select a spell, but it's not like letting me. It's like, okay, A, interact. B closes it. X does this. Y does this. Bumpers. Triggers. What about I click? Oh, I have to use... Sometimes you can use the controller, but you can't use the controller for everything. And that can lead to some confusion at some point. But, like, I understand sometimes you can't make it, like, work very well with the controller. But, like, you would imagine, since it's got, like, a pointer, you know, like this hand, it would let me go left or right. Oh, there it is. Okay. But I pressed these bumpers before, and it didn't do that. So there's a bug in here. Like, when you pick the first one, it doesn't let you use the controller anymore. You have to click. So I don't know why it's just a little bug, probably. So Enliven, Twister, and Boulder. I don't know. Let's go with a buff. There we go. And then we press B because we're done. So now we got a new Arcana, right? Yeah. Enliven. Imbue yourself with an embodiment of life, increasing your stamina regeneration for 30 seconds. I like that. Okay. So, in order to get out of the menu, as far as I can tell, you have to scroll until you get to the inventory and then click on X. It's the only way I've seen so far to get out of the menu. There's probably a shortcut. Okay. There we go. So we have strength up. It's not giving me any life, though. Is it just making me hit harder for 30 seconds? Okay. I was hoping it'd heal me. The little pop sound effect sounds very similar to Stardew Valley's pop sound effect when you pick up an item. Not these ones, but sometimes it goes pop. That one sounds uniquely different. See, look, that was a weird transfer. Does it let me go back? No, not because we're fighting a slime or what? Can't transfer during a fight? I think the grass should be able to be smashed in one slice. Sometimes it takes two. See, look, that was 1, 2. Yeah, I didn't give it too much weight, Ahmed. I was hoping for a heal. A healing spell early on would have been great. a spell. Okay, so now, so the bumper's working. Why did it not do it the first time? Twister. A violent twister which slowly moves and damages enemies it touches. And blaze, due to a large fire that explodes into smaller embers when contacting an enemy or wall, exploding after a few seconds otherwise. Let's go with the twister one. There we go, we got twister now. So let's go here and set up oh wait, that one does wild magic, does something. What about if I switch this to that? No? Hold up. Still the same thing? What about if I switch to that? It still does that? Okay, that's fine. Anyway. I have to go through and then click X. Alright, let me cycle. We can take a look at this one. Does it damage us? No. Okay. Alright. Where are we supposed to go now? Oh, I think I see an exclamation mark. Maybe we go back after we've got those things. I mean, we don't really need to do all this backtracking. Wait, up. We go up this time. It seems like the first card sets the type. Another weird transfer.
Yeah.
Ah, my companion's ruining it. I picked up a G-slime crystal. Gangsta. So the orbs slowly move toward the player. Got a mighty copper band. Let's try to equip that. Mighty copper band, a simple copper band imbued with arcana. Arcana. Okay, we better not go to the equipment menu because, oh hey, it appeared. Now it's there again. I pressed a button on it and it just disappeared for a while. Color equal light blue hardy, so I think there's another bug there on the helmet. Yeah, the game is very buggy.
Yeah.
Ah, I didn't mean to do that. Hey, werewolf. How you doing? Look, there's someone in the slime. Looks like it's a soldier, unconscious. He's badly hurt, but he's still alive. Hold on. Let me give him some treatment. Leon takes out a potion and begins treating the soldier. Ah, he's coming too. Where am I? Don't worry, you're safe now. Can you tell me what happened? It was a monster, a party, a slime king. Looks like he's asleep now, but it looks like my hunch was right. Is that what it looks like? We're dealing with a C-rank monster. We should head back to the guild. But we're going to see if we can help the rest of this guy's party, right? Right, let's hurry. Sure. Stay away from me! Boss fight. Slime King. Good. I wonder if I just do nothing while we beat it. Will we have an epic boss fight? Does my companion just like carry me through the entire thing? Tornado! Do damage, tornado! Kingly crash. Royal rollout.
Here.
Get him! Tornado! He's getting smaller and smaller. Royal, oh gosh. Now the health bar seems to be like fixed. There was like a bug with the health bar too. Oh, come on. He ran right through my tornado. Oh no! He's kingly crashing me. I don't have any potions. Whatever will I do? Let's go with this one. Fireball his dumb face. Bubbles. That's how you kill these guys, with lots and lots of bubbles. Fireballs. More bubbles. More bubbles. All of the bubbles. I mean, it's not very... I mean, what's up with my health bar again? Why is it all gray now and, like, transparent? He's getting smaller. Kingly crash. Ah, darn it. Bubbles. More bubbles. Oops. You kill the king with all the bubbles. There we go. Okay, sure. We'll just transfer event like that. Is that a soldier? Is that soldier okay? He's still breathing, but it looks like he's in rough shape. What happened? You were fighting off some slimes. Then all of a sudden you were crushed by a really big one. I see. To think me one of the Empire's finest officers defeated by merely slimes. Are my party members? Don't worry, they're fine. Thank the five. The soldier passes out. Looks like he's out cold. Leon hands Cecilia some medicine. Here, use these to treat his wounds. I'm going to check on the other soldiers. The font isn't extremely legible. It's not bad, though. Sometime later. I think that should take care of it. He should be fine now. I wonder what's taking Leon so long. Whoa, am I seeing things? What is that glow? I personally like seeing Unity's used to make some RPGs like this. So, I mean, I kind of like the idea of this game. I think there's a ton of bugs. That's it? Wow, it's a very early demo. It's super buggy. But I like that there's at least a boss fight in it. There's potential here. I think it's pretty cool. I don't think it's ready for anyone to play, to be honest. I wouldn't even show it to anybody, like... I mean, that's not true. I would be like, check out what I made. I wouldn't try to put my demo up for download yet, if that's all I had. I think it's too early to show. You know what it's good for? You should, like, make videos of your progress, or, like, talk about it on Twitter, promote it on Twitter, do, like, really good screenshots or GIFs on Twitter. Keep working on it. I think it's got a lot of potential. The music was good, and I liked the sprites. I think the idea of using Unity to make an RPG like this is going to be challenging. You probably have better luck in Godot. But yeah. To be continued, thanks for playing the demo. Okay, return to title. The eyes on these characters are crazy large and, like, wide open. Whoa. Is there, like, two musics playing right now? Or was that a sound effect? It's crazy. Hey, Ghostly. Do I know what Nuclear Throne is? I think I've heard of that. The camera should tilt towards the direction the player is facing. If the character is looking down, it's hard to see far off enemies. That's true, Snoozish. Good suggestion. Ahmed says, I think the game has good promise of an action RPG, but it needs some polishing and lots of bug fixing for sure. And I think there's, like, too much for the player to learn at first. Maybe lock the menus. You know what I mean? Like, make it so the player can only access a little bit of the menu, of the GUI, at first. And then as the player goes through, like, the first part, and, like, they find an item. When they first find an item, then unlock, like, the inventory. And I know that sounds, like, unnecessary, but really it'll stop the player from getting overwhelmed immediately. And you introduce one page of the GUI at a time when it's relevant for them. And it is a lot of extra work, but it will go a long way in helping your players learn how to use your menus and stuff. It needs tutorials, but I would rather the game show me how to do them instead of tell me how to do them. Like I said, when you get an item, just unlock the inventory at that point. And when you get your second spell, or start the player with just Fireball, and then like quickly give them the bubble spell, and then open up that page that lets them select their combinations. Also, the transfer events were kind of weird and jank. I'm going to show the transfer events just to talk about them for a second. Let me press A button. Okay, I'm pressing A button. Okay. I don't know. Don't show the press a button until you're ready to receive input for that. Okay, let me just do a new game. We have to pick this one. Yada yada, yada yada. Okay, this is good though. This whole scene where you've got all the buttons, that's very necessary.
Taste the sting of destruction.
Taste the sting of destruction. Icicle barrage. Okay. I don't know if you need to do the taste the sting of destruction part. Like, it's a little bit overkill. Just do the icicle barrage. The sprites look weird here. They're like cut off. This is the first thing that I noticed when I got in your game. I was like, whoa, this is jarring. They're like completely flat and cut off. It looks like you're putting the trees on top of these. Instead, you want to put these on top of the trees in a different layer, or maybe it's because the graphics are cut off. I don't know. This looks weird to me. Like, it looks beautiful right here where the character's standing, but then as you get closer to like right here, or if you look at this section right here, it looks very weird. The transfer events, watch it. Did you see that? Did you see how? Okay, watch. You see how it took you back here and then transferred you up. Watch. Did you see that? That doesn't need to happen. If you're going to do that, don't scroll up, jump down, and teleport. Just scroll up and teleport, or scroll down and teleport. Just if you want to, you don't need to emphasize this again if that's what you were trying to do, because the player starts here. They don't move until, like, there's no way they're not going to see this. So I think it's just a simple coding thing. You've got like the player, you're setting the X and Y of the player before you're changing the map. So before you change the scene, or change the X and the Y after you change the scene, and make the player transparent. So instead of moving the character's X, Y, and then changing scene, make the player invisible, change scene, change the X, Y, make the player visible, right? Do that instead. Item icons are a different pixel art style than the UI. There's some inconsistencies, and I imagine there's some programmer art in here. Get rid of these harsh edges on these trees. Like, maybe get different trees. They're just, they look a little square, if you know what I mean. Look very square. Like, this looks kind of like, what is happening here? The transparency idea, I like this idea. Maybe instead of making it completely pink, make just an outline of the character. Like, just keep the outline of the character, but that's fine, that's minor, and like, I like the idea of you including transparency. I felt like I should be able to walk behind the tree here, but it doesn't let me, so there's another thing with, maybe add another layer somewhere. The whole red circle, oh, okay, I get it. It wasn't a red circle, that's an enemy that's showing a transparency. I get it now. Okay.
Hey.
I see.
Hey. Yeah.
Once again, an outline would be more clear than changing the color and making it one solid blobby color. Kind of looks bad. Keep the same colors that's on the character, but just keep the outline of the character. So you would see like the dark pink of the hair, the kind of tannish of the face, and then like the red of the gloves or the black lining on it, and the dark brown of the boots. So instead of making it a blob of one color, make it just an outline of the characters, of the original sprites. Of course, you'd have to write a little script for it to do that, but that shouldn't be too hard. I do think it's cool how you've got the lighting changing. Like, look at the lighting on the screen. When you get to this fire, near the fire, it changes red. Or is that just because I'm oh, that's because I'm damaged. Okay,
Yeah.
which is cool. It's like a little, it's that Zelda without the annoying sound effect of it. So that's kind of cool. I love the water right here. It looks nice. I like the sparkling pixel art. That's kind of cool. I don't like how opening the flowers damages the character. There's a lot to improve on, and I think there's a lot of potential with this project. Hopefully the dev sees this. I don't know if they ever will. But for anybody else who's making a game, you can use what I'm saying here and give it some thought. I'm going to be doing one first impressions a day. I'm not going to really go too far with any of them. If it gets past 2 hours or I beat the demo, that's really going to be it. The rest of my time I use working on my game. I suppose I could live stream working on my game. It's only been 40 minutes. But I don't know how many of you want to see me working on my game. But that's what I'm going to do. Thank you for coming to the live stream. If this is all you wanted to see is the first impressions, I'm going to be working on my game now. We did beat this demo and gave my feedback on it. Thank you to the devs for making the game. Thank you everybody for watching this first impressions. I'm going to exit to desktop and close this game and get back to working on the one that I'm working on. I made this sprite today. Anyway, for those of you taking off, have a good day. Thank you for coming by, and I appreciate it. Links are in the description below if you want to come hang out on the Discord or back me on patreon.com/driftwoodgaming. All support would be appreciated. Follow me on Twitter if you want updates on my projects. And yeah, love you guys. Okay, let's play. Let's play this animation. And I started this because I wanted a little coin, and then I wanted it to like spin. So I basically used the circle tool. I'm using Sprite here, and then I did the straight line, and then with this one right here, I put it into Photoshop, and I reversed it. I put that thing down, flipped it, and reversed it, and then I imported it. I copy pasted it back into Sprite, and then I have this is a reverse of this, but when I put that at the end, it would go back to this one. So it kind of looks like it's rotating, and that was my original goal. And so I'm barely putting the coin in right now. I just started. Hey Jacob, man, how you doing? You like to lurk during the dev streams? Well, that's cool. So yeah, it's not. I was like typing, and I'm like, oh my god, I've got 5 minutes to do this thumbnail and blah 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 blah. So I didn't have time to like get it all balanced yet, as far as the text. I need to round it, and I need to, I mean, I have a goal, and what am I using the controller for? I haven't programmed to use the controller yet, which I plan to do. Let's put this on. I've experimented with the GUI size of this, and until I have a need for other space, I've put it back to the larger GUI. On Twitter, I posted yesterday that I just added the charged attack, which I really like. I have a notepad full of things I want to add here. I've got a list of things. One of the things on it was getting the enemies to drop gold. So that's what I've been working on today is the gold drops. But I also want to do health bars today. Yeah, so you can see the coin I'm getting right there. I want to draw a sprite. So you can see that we're getting coins right there, but I've set it to random. But what I should have used is random int. So I'm gonna recode some of this and make the box larger, and maybe add a new font for the coins. So yeah, that's what I'll do. First of all, let me add a new font. Create a font, and we'll call it Fcoin, and pick something and give it a smaller size. something clear, legible. That looks good, and we'll make it not too big. Let's say 16. That looks about right. And then I'll go to where I'm displaying that in the menu. And change the fonts to F coin. And I want to change that rectangle to draw quite a bit larger box. So let's say 40 more pixels. We'll make it 60 in total. And we could actually make it a little bit, say 30 by 60. And then this is where we're drawing the string. Looks at the title, Hello Epic Mighty in a Cloud. We already played it. The video will go live. I'm just going to work on my project a little bit. The Unity demo was a lot shorter than I thought. And I don't want to do 2 first impressions in 1 first impression package. So, and I also have a little bit of time to stream. So at the end, I'm just going to work on my project. Instead of just working on my project the entire time, I'm going to start with the first impression. And if I have extra time, then I'll work on my project as people go about their day. Yeah, int is better. I could also round it. But I think it's just better if I go irandom, which will be an integer value. So using random range, it'll select anywhere from 1 to 5 with decimals, but with irandom, it'll just select 1 to 5 without any decimals, so I think. I'm pretty sure. Let's test it. So now I shouldn't be getting 4.3 coins, 2.7 coins. I should just get 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 coins. Get some stuff here. There we go, 5 coins. We also changed the font so it's not as large. The box color starts as black, but then it draws as green, so I need to take a look at why that's happening. I can also move stuff around. Do I even need to draw a rectangle? I think the font with the shadow text will look fine. Instead of drawing a box, let's draw a coin. Let's put the coin. Let's draw the coin as a sprite. Okay, so let's get rid of the rectangle and draw a sprite. So we'll do draw sprite ext, and we'll use S. We'll use the actual coin itself. Gold coin as the sprite. The sub image will start at 0. The X and Y location, where do we want it? In the bottom left. So I'll say, it is also centered, and it's a 16 by 16, so I need at least an 8 pixel buffer, but let's give it a 16 pixel buffer. So let's go 16. And then same thing with the bottom. Let's give it a 16 from the bottom. So 360 minus 16 is 344, I believe. And then X scale, we can make it larger or smaller. Let's keep it at 1 and see how it looks. Rotation, we'll say 0. Color, we'll say see white, which will keep it the same color. And then alpha, let's make it kind of see-through, 0.75. Or why? Why do we make it see-through? I don't know, because it might look cool. Let's do 0.8. I don't know. We'll see. And yeah, so no more rectangle. Instead, we're going to draw a sprite. Your negative health should be red. It was green. Oh yeah. Let me pick your brain some more, Jacob, about that. So here's the thing. I have 5 elements, right? I've got physical, fire, ice, lightning, and poison in the game, and I'm making it so that no matter if it's the player or the enemy getting damaged by that element, the color stays the same. So the reason why the negative was green was because it was poison damage. So should I just make all damage be red to simplify it, or should I specify when you get hit with lightning damage, should it be minus yellow? If I get hit by fire damage, should it be minus with red color? And physical, I'm using white even though I'm denoting it as gray here. I suppose I can keep that white to be a little clearer. The white damage is, boom, you see we get hit. That's physical damage, so that's why it's 1. But if you, let's have, these guys also shoot physical, like they just spit. So now this guy, he's shooting a poison bolt type of attack. So when we get hit by that, we're taking 7 from poison damage. So should that be red, or should I keep with my my elemental type determines the color of the font? It's tough though, because it's confusing, right? Like the first time you've seen it, you're like, why is the damage color green? Like that's a dumb color for taking damage, and I agree. Maybe I don't put these guys at the beginning. See, these guys are dealing white damage because it's physical damage, but this guy's dealing poison damage, so it's green. I suppose I could have him doing fire damage, but like, what's the point then? Like, if I'm going to just make everything fire and not use poison, I should just change the... Oh, this is my death animation, so... I do have a save load function in the game, which is cool. I have... I'm storing all of the objects and variables in those objects inside of a DS map. And then, okay, my save file, on to what I'm talking about, I'm storing all of those into a DS map. I anticipated this. And then I'm putting that in DS lists, and then I'm putting a DS map wrapper, and I'm storing that as a JSON file when you save. So why I crashed here is I just added these variables into the game, but I didn't save once I've updated my save system. So once I tried to load a game that was saved, that JSON was saved before these variables existed, when it loads these objects back, it doesn't find these things, even though they're in the game. So to fix that, all I really have to do is save that JSON file again. So to fix that, all I have to do is, nope, that's not what I have to do. I have to get my stuff back the way I want my save to be with my stuff on, and then save the game. Now if I were to load the game, it will know the stuff I just added to it, and it won't crash when I pick up a coin. Also, I need to fix the coin pickup because it's drawing the sprite where I want it, but the text needs to be pushed over a little bit. So let's change the text location. Let's make the text go over, let's say, to 32, and then raise it up a little bit, and wait, maybe not raise it up. That's centered. Yeah, let's raise it up a little bit by subtracting 4 pixels. Let's just see how that looks now. You feel like damage in red would be simpler. It would, and I think that makes sense. Let's go to load game. I might change that. In part because it makes it easier too. If I can make it all one color, when I have to specify the colors, it's really not that much of a difference. That's almost there. Do you think the text is too big? We can get rid of that space though. Let's push it over another 16 pixels, let's say 48, and get rid of the space. Can you include a small version of the element icon next to the damage number to indicate what type of damage you're taking? Now that sounds like a better solution. Let me just load the game real quick. That's also going to require some more coding. Like I'll have to reprogram that. I feel like the coin pickup looks better now. Of course, once I get sound effects and everything, it'll be much better. I'm going to put those to the end. I'm going to put making the music and sound effects towards the end. The next thing I have to do is display my total gold. There's no place for the player to see how much money they have, and I'm still debating if it should just be on screen right here, or if it should only show when I press escape. I'm leaning towards only showing it when I press escape and putting it down here. Like obviously I'm reserving this location for when I pick up coins. So I'm going to draw it above it. Oh, I just noticed a bug. You're not supposed to be able to attack or swing your sword in the menu. Does it work if I take the sword off? No, it doesn't. I need to have a sword on. So you can see I can't swing when I click if I have the menu open, but it still works for charging my attacks. So that's not intended behavior. Let me fix that bug. Now that is being stored on the player, I believe. Hey, Boro. The title says Hero Soul, I Want to Be a Hero First Impressions. Yeah, it was only 45 minutes long. It was actually like less than that, but I talked about it while I was still inside of it for a few minutes. So yeah, sorry about that. It should be posted once I finish the live stream. It'll be posted to the channel, so you'll still be able to watch it. Right now, since it was quicker than I thought, and I want to have one first impressions per live stream, and that's it, I'm just going to work on my project while I have a little bit of time. I think this is best. I'm sorry, it's not as entertaining as if I picked another game, but that's the way I'm going to do it. I'm just going to fix some bugs and add some new features and whatnot. Right now I've got a bug that is letting the player charge attack while the menu is open, which is not what I want. So if we're holding a weapon, all of this happens okay, so another thing to put in is just set a check right here, because it could also cause a bug if I do something. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll say and. So this is basically saying if we're holding a weapon and we hold down the left click, then it'll start a charge timer, and when the charge timer reaches a certain amount, it'll just cap it at that amount, and then if we let go of that button while the amount is fully charged, it creates the attack. It does the charged thing that goes across. If we add an exception that says if we're holding the left mouse button and the menu is not open, so we can say menu open false. In order to do that, we'll just say exclamation menu open. So if the menu is not opened and we're holding left button, increase the charge. Let's see if I created any bugs by doing this. I may have. Let me just load. When I make changes to the game, to the code, I have to save again. This is not a problem, and it's not really a bug in the save system. The player's never going to encounter this because when they're playing, they're never going to be changing the code. So it will work. I just have to equip my stuff beforehand. Player. Oh wait, I know what the problem is here. The menu opened is not in the player's data, it's in the menu data. So I say, oh, menu dot menu open. Like I'm referencing it here, I have to reference it like this as well. Otherwise, it's going to say, we don't know what menu opened is inside of the player object, and that's what was causing the bug. Okay, so now we can, our charge attack still works, our attack still works. If we close the menu, we can't attack, and now we fix it. We can't charge attack with the menu open. Simple fix. Simple fix. Okay. That's done. What was the other thing I was working on? Oh, I was going to add a gold counter inside the menu, so it'll show the number of coins we have. I think putting our coin count on the top part somewhere would look good. So I don't know if the right-hand side or the left-hand side. I'm thinking the right-hand side, the top right, since this is where we have our items. Come on, brain. This is where we have our inventory. We could put our gold counter on the top here. But then again, we can also put it somewhere in here if we really wanted to. I'm going to put it over in the top right. So that'll work the best. I'll draw the coin on the right hand, on the very top right, and then I'll draw the number to the left of that. I wonder if I should align right. By putting in a line. Oh, what I'll do is I'll set the facing right, and then after it's drawn, I'll set the facing back to center. I think is where I've got it from default. Whenever you change your alignment facing, it changes the location that stuff is drawn. I'm still not 100% with the location of the text when you pick up a coin. I'm gonna move it up a few pixels. That will be on the menu. And then we'll say that's good where it's at. Moving it up, we'll be subtracting from the Y value, so 336. Up 4 pixels, might be too much, 338. 2 pixels. Okay. Now moving on to if the menu is open and the player has not died, what is this for? This is just drawing the inventory. Okay. This is our experience bars, our stats and images. This is essentially where I want it to be. So we'll put it in right here. So when the menu's open and the player's not dead, we'll draw show gold total. And I'll take the same draw sprite and font, copy that, and put it right here. Except I'll make it not see-through. And then the draw text, draw this. But instead of drawing the last gold amount that we picked up, we'll instead change our player gold total. So we'll take this value. We'll take that variable and put it into a string and draw that. We won't include a plus, any of that. We're just going to draw that string, but not at this location. And the same thing with this sprite. We're not going to draw it right there. We want to draw it on the top right, and I'm using 640 by 360. So 640 will go all the way across. The size of the sprite is 16 by 16, and it's the origin is in the center. So I need at least 8 pixels as a buffer. I'll use 16. So that's 640 minus 16. What are we looking at? 640 minus 16 is 624. Yeah. And as for the Y value, we want to So starting at 0, it'll be at the top. We need the same buffer, so that's 16. Oh, this is sub-image. Oops. So sprite, sub-image, this is the X, this is going to be the Y, which the Y will be, we'll say 16. And then X scale, Y scale, rotation, color, alpha. Set the font, we draw this. We don't want to draw it here, we want to draw it basically like that. And how far across do I want to draw it? Let's say 580, and then we'll move it as needed. And we can say draw set H align, FA center, no, FA right. And then after this thing, we put it to draw set H align, and then we FA center. Where's our error? It's not an error. Okay. Let's save that. Let's look in the menu and see what changes. Sorry, I got called out of the room. What did you think of my suggestion? Which suggestion? I probably answered it and then dumped it from my temporary memory. Your negative health should feel red. It was green. Damage. Players say blah blah blah. Or if it's poison, wouldn't you make a damage over time and have the icon and timer for the poison? So maybe it does -1 over 7 seconds. That's a good idea. I could do damage over time. I haven't coded that in at all yet. I feel like damage is damage. Red would be simpler. I agree with you. I do like showing the elements. Kyle gave a good idea to make damage red and healing green. And I like that idea. And instead of drawing the color for the element, include an icon for the element. And I want to do something like that. In fact, let me write that down, Kyle, before I forget. I have a notepad. So I will write down something like set all damage to red and include icons for element. That's another bulletin point that I'll have to code in. Great suggestions. Going down. Wind blade. Don't you love those easy fixes? Yeah. Hey Trueborn, how you doing by the way? What's up, Alexander Burkle? You missed the first impressions? Don't worry. When I finish in stream, it's going to go up, and this will be extra stuff at the end. Could you pop it right over or under the player? Could you pop it right over or under the player? Almost like an item pickup. When you say it, what are we referring to now? Sorry, I got lost. SE games, not related to anything you're working on, but man, something about that character sprite reminds me of the old NES game Crystallis, because I drew it, I made it an A sprite while I was looking at a long play of Crystallis, so it is very much in the vein of Crystallis. Obviously, it doesn't look as good as the one in Crystallis. My spriting skills aren't that great, but it's I didn't want it to be exact. Obviously, I could have just found it online and took it if I wanted it to be exact. I like it. It's good enough, and it's in the same style as the Crystallis one. And I tried to use a similar color scheme. I could change the color, and I did at first. I made a green one, and then I noticed that the character blended into the backgrounds way too much. And I'm like, I get why they use purple now, because it pops out of the background and you don't lose track of your player on the screen. So purple isn't just because the purple character isn't just because they wanted it to be purple. It wasn't arbitrary. It was a design because it catches your eye more when everything in the backgrounds are like tones of greens and grays and browns. So purple, it really sticks out, and the player doesn't lose track of where their character is at. So I decided I'm gonna stay with that, and I'm gonna keep it a very similar colors design or color choice, and have purple stick out so the player sees it better. The gold pickup looks better now. I think that looks a lot better. The black box we had at the beginning was stupid. Now we just show the coin, and it shows the number that we picked up. And we fixed it from a decimal to being a solid amount. Let's look in the top right. You can see when we pick it up now, it adds to our coin total. And now we actually have a gold counter. We have a gold system. We fixed the bug where the player is able to charge their sword attack in the menu too, so that's good. Boom. Next thing I want to add is health bars on the enemies. Because I think I'm getting some like double, triple attacks in there that I'm not intending to do. And so with the health bars, I'll be able to see the changes, even with the damage pop-ups. I'll be able to see the changes a bit better. So yeah, I agree that I should make, there's also this bug. I'm working on getting this layering thing right. I think what I'm going to do is just change the enemy's collision so that they can't go over the collision. You see the player goes here, it looks right, the top layer is drawn above the player can't just walk through things, but the enemy sprites, the enemy objects are not set up with the same tile set collision restrictions that that the player is. I also have another bug with the spawner. I'm still working on a ton of bugs, where it'll let multiples spawn, but the way the damage is being dealt, it kills any duplicates. Like it currently limits it so that I can only have one of each object on the map if I use the spawner the way that it currently works. So I have to fix that. It's just a bug, and I know it to be a bug. I also want to add critical hits. I didn't write that down. Add critical hits. And maybe I don't know, I think I'll keep it a base chance, 1 out of 25% chance to land a critical. And maybe something later on, high level gear will let you manipulate that, but I'm not going to use a stat to manipulate that because I don't want it to get too complex. Right now it's simple. We have an attack power and a defense, a magic attack power and a magic defense. And you've got a weapon, you've got a helmet, an armor, and one accessory, and they'll go in order like that. So all the helmets will be right here. There'll be 8 helmets. Not saying that there will be all 8 helmets, but all of the helmets, up to 8 of them, will go here. Same thing with the body armor. And then I'll probably have like 3 rows of accessories for just different things. So the player will swap their accessory and their weapon the most. So 2 rows, up to 16 weapons, 8 helmets, 8 armors, and maybe 16 to 32 accessories. Then we'll have like a row of potions and stuff like that. And then a row of spells. Maybe I'll have 2 rows of spells or something like that. I'm not sure yet. But I plan to use the spells as toggleable the same way as these are, and maybe change where it's drawing the current spell selected. I don't know. Maybe I'll put the spells at the bottom, and then I'll put like current spell selected, and just have like another little GUI right here that shows the spell. I've changed the GUI before, but I don't like how it looks once I've changed it to make this look smaller. I like it taking up most of the screen because it's like a toggle thing. You turn it on, you turn it off. You could also click here to turn it on and turn it off. Alright. Only for enemies you've defeated so far. Wait, hold on. Let me go back. An icon would be great. When you get the money, okay, could you pop it right over or under the player? Oh, I see what you're saying. Instead of putting it in the bottom left, draw it where the player's at. we should make a Unity game together. I would rather work in Godot. I've decided once I release a game that is worth selling on GMS2. Now I've made like 10 projects on GMS2. They've all been like little tech demos, and I put some of them up for download for free on itch. But when I'm going to work on this until I either get super bored of it and I release it as it is for free, or I make it something good, something really, really good, and ask like $5 or $10 for it or something and put it on itch. Either way, when I feel like this project is done, I'm not going to stop using GMS2, but I'm going to move to Godot, and I'm going to start doing more tech demos in Godot. And I'm going to stay away from Unity, because if you've ever used Godot, it has a lot of the features that Unity has, but it's better for pixel stuff, I feel. But I've seen what you've done in Unity, Jacob, and you've done some really cool stuff. If you, yeah, like you would get it, man, because it's hard at first because you're like, I don't understand. What are these scenes? Well, the scenes are like objects. Scenes in Godot are like objects in GMS2, and they can store all kinds of data and have scripts attached to them and yada yada. But if you're coming from Unity, then you'll just get Godot a lot faster than someone who hasn't used Unity. So I mean, I'm sure that you would get the hang of it. At first, just accept that you're going to be like, I don't know how to do anything, and then start watching tutorials and whatnot and see what it's capable of. I feel like this game is getting fun. It's starting to get like, there's a core mechanic, you know, you can level up, your stats go up, there's items in the game, but it's still very bare bones, and there's bugs that I'm working out. So the next thing I'm going to add is health bars. So let's draw some health bars for the, oh wait, before I do the health bars, you mentioned instead of putting the plus number and the sprite on the bottom left, but putting it where the player's at. I could do that. Or I think I can. Let's try to do that. So that would be on the menus draw GUI. See, at this point, I'd be using a draw instead of a draw GUI. But I can put it on the GUI layer. Let's just replace the X and Y's a little bit. So let's go up to where I'm showing the coin pickup. Let me delete this commented out. I'm not going to put a rectangle. Instead of putting the X and the Y right here, 0, 16, let me just draw to bottom left. Draw on player. Maybe I want both, maybe I don't. But what I'll do is copy this here, paste it here, copy this here, paste it here, and replace the X and Y's with, let's say, player X, player Y. Maybe add so that it's at the player's feet. Is that what you were saying? Problem is I don't really have the attention span to code. Even visual scripting makes me bored super fast. Hey Volpe, how you doing? Subdrifty, you're doing a lot of first impressions lately, huh? Yeah, I think the idea of what I'm going to be doing now is start my stream with the first impression, and if I have time after I'm done with the first impression, work on my projects, live stream the work on my projects and show it off then and there. I think that'll spice it up a little bit. I was like, oh, let me just live stream my progress 5 times a week. Not everybody cares, and I lose. I think I lose viewership. And first impressions are, you can learn a lot from watching somebody else's game, watching somebody critique somebody's game. So I see the value there, and I'm going to do more. I've been doing more first impressions, and I'll probably do first impressions for a while. Yeah, I still, there's more games that I could ever play on itch, and most of them suck, but there are some good ones, and I'm looking for the good ones to play. But whether your game sucks or your game is good, I will play it if you back me on Patreon at the $20 level. So that's the service I can provide if you want that for publicity or feedback. Jacob says, like under the player so it doesn't cover up the player, and even animate it like the damage where it fades out or floats away or both. Okay, so that'll take a little bit more, but I can, if I want it to fade out or float away, it's easier to do float. And I like the idea of it floating. But let's start without it floating, and let's just see if we can get it to draw where we want it to draw. So we're going to change the x and the y to player, player, the name of our object, dot x, and then player, it's verbatim, cap sensitive dot y. I think at the player's feet, the player is 32 by 32, so pushing it down 16 since the origin is in the center. So we'll say plus 16 on the y, just so it pushes it down. We would have to put in another variable. So since we're going to do this with the gold, I'll say coin pickup draw text floater equals equals 0 to initialize it. I try to be very descriptive with my variables because I have a ton of them. The bonus to this is I don't think I'll have to save it into the save file, so I won't need to add it to the save file. Every time I add a variable, I might as well add it since I'm going to talk about it. Every time I add a new variable, I have to go into my save and load script, and I go down to where I'm saving all of the data into a JSON file. So I'll scroll down to, this is inside of the menu, right? Hey, baby.
Hi.
A wild tea has appeared.
Hello.
You gotta go?
No, I came back.
I mean, are you going to watch baby, or are you going to stay in here?
Yeah, she's awake.
Okay. Anyway, so I put this on the menu object, so anytime I add a new variable, I have to add it to my my save game JSON encode and my load game encode. So I'll scroll down to where I have all of the variables being stored in a DS map that's in a DS list that's in a DS map wrapper, and put it in there somewhere. So I have a location. It doesn't matter where I put it at this point and anywhere in here, but for my own sanity, I kind of want to keep it near where it was. So I'm gonna do something and close all this because I've got more open than I need to have open right now. That's the problem with GMS2. Godot has the upper hand when it comes to like keeping things clean in your menus. So this is underneath the coin pickup stuff. So I'll scroll down to where I'm saving that data. So I need to put this thing. So I've got to do a DS map add into that DS map. Named this. So this is the glad it autofills. This is the key. This is the key. And I've gone with the system that I will always know the key to the variable that I'm trying to reference because I named them the same thing. Now, the key doesn't have to be the same thing as the variable name, but because I do name them exactly the same, when I go to the load, which I'll show you the code for that, when I go to load the DS map, that's storing the variables inside that object, I reference the key. I say look in this JSON's using this key and store what you find there into this variable upon loading the game. So right here, I'll say load this variable into this menu map right here. You can see I'm saying with menu, and I want to use that DS map and search for, this is shorthand, search for this key. Now, I don't think that would really matter if I saved this variable. You don't have to save, every variable in your game. But it also doesn't really hurt to save most of your variables in the game. It just stops the likelihood that the game is saved while a particle is being displayed, and if that particle isn't stored, when it's loaded, it won't know what that particle is, and if it won't know the data for it. So storing all of your variables, or most of your variables, into your JSON file is a good thing. It makes the save file slightly bigger, but it only goes up in a few bytes per each variable. Yeah, like under the player, so, okay, right. We're going to try to do that. Volpe says, it's probably a lot because of how much GMS you've been doing. I'm sure you're enjoying it, but there's a lot of peeps who just want RPG Maker stuff. Yeah, I totally understand that, Volpe. And most of the first impressions are RPG Maker games. And I still make RPG Maker tutorials. You guys are seeing them at a delay now because I post them on Patreon first. For the $10 backers, they see them a week ahead of time. There's currently one that will go public in 3 more days. So on Monday, a new tutorial will be public on YouTube. It's currently been available for a few days now already on Patreon. So Patreon backers get my tutorials a week in advance. Jacob says, all this makes sense, but it still makes my head hurt. I think my problem is I'm lazy. That's got to be it. I just want to make art for the coding to be done for me. That's why I use RPG Maker or Smile. Yeah, no, I get it, man. Like, it is a lot of work. It's a ton of work. I want to add one simple variable, but just to do that, I have to put it in the create so that I can use it on the step or draw GUI. I have to put it into my call save game JSON encode. I have to put it into the load string as a JSON load file. So it's a lot just to add a single thing, you know. Laziness is the mother of all vices, says Alexander Burkle. But you better respect your mother. Respect your elders. Okay, now that we've got a variable that's set to 0, we can use it. Coin pickup draw text floater. What do we want to do with it? Well, it's going to start at 0, but we're going to use it in draw GUI, and we're going to add that. We're going to subtract that to make it. Wait, plus 16 will push it down. Having it go up will subtract from the y. So what we'll do, we can either add a negative number or subtract a positive number. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to subtract the number. So what I'm going to do here is say coin pickup draw text floater. We're going to subtract this value from our current draw location of the sprite and the current draw location of the text, which what we need to do is change this one as well to oplayer.x, comma, oplayer.y plus 16 minus the coin pickup draw text floater. Now, all that's going to do is literally nothing at this point because it's not going to change that value at all. But this is only happening, this coin pickup, this stuff is only going to be drawn when the coin pickup switch is on. So we can use the switch that we already created to increment the coin pickup draw text floater. So let's take this and we can say anywhere on the step phase, we can say float gold coin pickup. What we'll do here is we'll say plus plus. But we want to encapsulate this. We'll say if coin pickup is true, then increase it. Else, we're going to say coin pickup draw text floater equals 0. So what we've done is we're saying if this switch is on, add 1 to it each frame. If the switch is off, set it to 0. And if it's already set to 0, I don't think it runs any resource calculation to set it to 0 every frame. It'll just kind of like set it to 0, and then if it hasn't changed, it shouldn't waste any resources. Now we got to think about how I've done this. This could be wrong still. I might need to change this because we're saying, what if we pick up 2 coins back to back? It's going to draw the coins higher and higher and higher and higher. Like, what if you keep picking up coins before the switch turns off? It's just going to keep drawing the text higher and higher and higher. It's not necessarily what we want. Wait, what did I do? I pressed enter accidentally. So at some point, I need to set it back to 0. So when we pick up a coin, we can set this variable at 0. Yeah. It's every frame that this is. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I'm not going to worry about optimization too much until it becomes a problem, because otherwise I'd be trying to minimize everything and I'll get nothing done. So and like I said, I think they do something to so that it won't. This is not going to be a problem. Anyway, let me go to the coin and set it to 0. When the coin is picked up. So if place meeting player means when the player collides with this thing, we'll play a particle effect. We'll set coin pickup draw text floater to be 0. Of course, at this point, the way that it's written, it's going to crash. It's going to say, I don't know what coin pickup draw text floater is because this is a variable that's stored in the menu. So we say the variable that's stored inside of this menu, set it to 0. And now it'll set that variable to 0 and do the other things. And it should, if we did this correctly, have the coin not just appear in the bottom left and the text plus value appear in the bottom left. Of course, I've changed and added new variables. So if I try to load a game, it would crash because I haven't updated. Now I have. When I save the game, it stores that new JSON file that's got all of the new variables that we told to use. So it didn't draw though. It didn't do the thing. So it's not, it's still picking up the coin and adding to our coins, but it's not drawing it at all. And I think it's because it's in the draw GUI layer. We're basically doing a draw on the draw GUI. The player is persistent. Why don't we migrate coin pickup? Why don't we migrate this to the player instead? So let me cut all of this code, and I'll have to change a few things, you'll see. But let's add a draw. Now once I add a draw, it won't draw the player unless I say draw self, because everything has an invisible draw layer. And once you add one, it overwrites it. So now the player will keep being drawn like it's supposed to. So once again, it doesn't know what coin pickup is because that was a variable inside the menu. So we'll say menu.coinPickup. And once again, menu.coinPickup draw text. menu.coinPickup draw text. Are we doing anything? C gold, it doesn't know what that is. That's a variable. That is a color that I created in the menu, so I have to reference this as menu. Data is still set up the same. Yeah, so now I've got this set up here, and it doesn't have to, I don't have to change any variable locations. Let's see if it works now. Actually, we don't have to say player anymore. We just say X and Y because we're now storing this on the player. So we'll get rid of the O player dot, and we'll just say X and Y. And we'll try it again. All of the variables are still in the same place. Now I should be able to load because, yeah. There we go. Do you see that? Is that kind of what you were talking about? It's not perfect yet because it's drawing them too close. I feel like the font should be smaller. We can reduce the font size. On the menu it looks great though, so I don't know. What do you think, Jacob? Maybe we reduce how fast it floats, and we reduce the font size, and we draw the sprite a little bit to the left. Or float down. I like floating up. It matches everything else too. I think it's just floating too fast, which we can change. So we reduce the float size, change the font size a little bit. We'll say fcoin 2. That way I can keep the same size in the menu, and I'll duplicate this, call this one fcoin 2, and reduce the size to be 12 instead of 15. And on the menu, wait, fcoin 2, it's only referenced once. Oh, that doesn't matter. That's not really a bug. fcoin 2 is, yeah, that's just a user IDE refresh error. What was I gonna do? Oh, the float. So that's in the step. So instead of adding plus, what we can do is say coin pickup draw text floater plus equals 0.5. Now it'll go up half a pixel a frame instead of a whole pixel. So we reduced that. We reduced the font size. We needed to change where we're drawing the sprite a little bit by subtracting some of the X. So let's draw the sprite. We'll say minus 16. And also, I felt like the text and the coin weren't quite balanced. Like there's 4 pixels off somewhere. So on one or the other, I need to bring one of them up or one of the others down. I can't remember which one it was. Let's look at our changes, and then I'll pay attention for that specific thing, so that they're lined up a little bit better. I think I subtracted from the wrong thing. Oh, what am I doing? I gotta load first. Oh, you don't know how you feel about it crossing over the player? I could put it under the player. I could reduce how long the player sees it too. Let's make it float faster, but reduce the number of frames that it's visible. And raise the font just a couple pixels. Or lower the sprite a couple pixels. So lowering the sprite a couple pixels would mean adding a little bit more to the Y. So let's say plus 18 and subtract 18 from this so that it separates it just a bit more. Actually, that's just, well, 20 is fine. And I suppose 20, we'll see what that looks like. Let's increase this to 0.75, and the size, the time is set in an alarm. So on the coin itself, that's how long it's going to last. Let's go to the coin object. Set the alarm. It's set to be 1.5 seconds. Let's make it 1 second. So now it'll scroll faster, space a little bit better, and disappear 0.5 second quicker. That feels a little better and looks a little bit better. I mean, I do feel like if it's behind the player, you won't be able to see the numbers, though. I mean, the reason why I put it in the bottom left corner because I didn't want it to obstruct the player. I'm kind of just taking ideas and seeing what it looks like, and I feel you though. I don't know if I like it scrolling on top of the player. What if we just make it move to the side of the player a little bit? Like, what if we push it over to the left or to the right a little bit more? Since the gold is being drawn on the right-hand side over here, let's push it over to the right and just add some so it doesn't cover up the player at all. So let's move everything 64 pixels to the right and see what it looks like. And if we don't like it, we'll keep moving it and getting it till it looks right. It's easy to change. So let's draw the sprite 60 more pixels to the right, 64, and then the text 64 pixels right. So x plus 64. Instead of minus 20, we'll just say plus 44. Oh, okay. Right, that's why I would have it float down, almost like saying damage goes up and items and money goes down. I don't know what's in my brain, but I don't like to see it float down. It's as simple as making the plus into a minus, but I just don't like the way that it looks. I guess I just don't want it to do that. But the only reason why you're saying that is because the same thing that's bothering me is covering up the player. At least now, boom, it's not necessarily covering up the player. The damage also, I didn't want it covering up the player. That's why I had it start at the player's head and go up. And this starts at the player's feet, but to the right and goes up. And I think to the right makes sense because if you open your menu, to the right is where the coins are. And it's pointing, like the coins are going towards where your pocket coin. The coins are moving into the direction of where it's being drawn on your menu. Something about that I like. Or I could have it all the way to the right and just go like vroom, all the way up really fast. Like the coin, when you pick it up, it's all the way to the right of the screen and goes all the way up to there. What do you think? Does that look good, or should I have it go all the way to the right? I definitely want it scrolling up, and I don't want it to block the player. Hey, baby. Can you make the float just a fast spinning rising coin, then have a number displayed where the coin disappeared above the player's head for a moment? Like have a spinning coin? Oh, I know what you're saying. It's just a spinning coin above the player, and then it shows a number when the coin disappears. That's very Mario Brothers. That's a little bit harder, but I can do that. I need another variable because now we have to control the sub-image of the draw sprite right here, where it says the first thing, where it says the second thing. It says what sprite, what sub-image. Right, I see what you're saying. So instead of just saying the first image, the first frame of the animation, we have to make a variable that operates on a timer, and then the timer ticks. Like, all right, I'm going to try to do that. I've got 14 minutes. Let's see if I can do it. So, all right, let's see if I can do that. I could use a variable, a temporary variable. maybe if I say var sub image equals 0, and then on this, well, let's see, sub image, let's see if it'll, I mean, the draw should work like the step, so let's see if it works like this. Sub image, maybe we do sub image counter, because if we have it plus plus, and oh wait, no, I know how to do it. We just use sub image. Will it if you send, I think it'll crash if you send a non-integer into this right here. So I have to use a counter, sub image counter. I can't just have it increased by a dot or something. Hello, Lakaluk, how are you doing? I'm not watching your vid for a short time and you already finish it. Cypher says, I'm actually thinking about making an RPG with a story along the lines of Gravity Falls while having the characters look along the lines of those of Celeste. Oh, cool, man. Promote it on self-promo. The link's in the description of the Discord. Promote it on our self-promo Discord. Come hang out if you're not already there, Cyphus. So let's say sub-image counter plus plus, and if, we'll make another variable, we'll say var sub-image, not capital though, we'll just say sub-image equals 0. So sub-image counter plus plus, and then if sub-image counter is greater than, I don't know, how many frames do we want to pass? Let's say 15. Let's start with 20. So if sub-image counter is greater than 20, we say sub-image equals 1. Then we say else if sub-image counter is greater than, oh no, we have to start at the highest. We have 4 frames, and we'll say 25 frames per each one. So keep in mind we only have 1 second, so that's 60. So 4 divided by 60 is 15. So if it's greater than 0 to 15 is 1, and then 30, 45, 60. So if it is greater than 60, then what we want to do is say sub-image equals 4. We'll need a 5th one for the time. Okay, hold up. I'm going to figure it out. If sub-image counter is greater than 75, what we need to do is say sub-image is back to 0, but also sub-image counter is now equal to 0. And then we do else if sub-image counter is greater than 60. We're going to say sub-image equals 1. Nope, equals 3. Because we got 0, 1, 2, and 3. So that's equals 3. We say else if sub-image counter is greater than 45. Sub-image equals 2. Else if sub-image counter greater than 30. Sub-image equals 1. Else if sub-image counter is greater than 15. Sub-image equals 0. And then we'll just say else. We don't really need, actually we don't need this. We don't even need... Okay, from 0, it's going to start at 0, and it'll stay at 0 until it goes to 30. So now let's do this. 0, 15, 30, 45, 60. Like that. It's going to test first to see if it's greater than 60. If it is, it's going to set its sub-image to 0, and then it's going to set the counter back to 0. So it's only going to go up to, well, let's set it greater than equal to 60 at this last one. So it's going to count from 0 to 60 and start over. So it's really going to count through this 4 frames every second and restart, restart, restart. Now all we have to do to make this work is change this 0 to say sub-image. Now hopefully I don't have to make a variable for this, and I don't have to store data for this. I could just use a temporary variable. So I'm just going to get some stuff in here and kill some creatures and collect a coin and see what it looks like if it crashes. It's not changing it. Yeah, so that doesn't work. It's still drawing the sprite at sub-image 0. Draw sprite, sub-image. So what's happening here? Let me look at it again. Set, oh, every frame of the game, guys, every frame we're setting it to 0, and that's what's happening. Every frame we're setting it to 0. Wait, can I do this? Can I say there's 2 variables, sub-image and counter? Or sub-image counter and sub-image. I think that's equivalent to setting it to 0, but let's see what happens. So it's going 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. And that's really all that's happening. It never goes past 0, 1, so it doesn't ever spin. It stays on the first frame. Okay, so it's crashing because it doesn't know what that is, right? Unfortunately, I have to create variables for this. That's not a big deal. I'll just do that. So I'll go to here, where I've got some other various stuff, and I'll put these in here. Of course, I'm not going to use var, because that means they're dumped from memory. They're not actually stored. Equals 0, equals 0. Now, it would be wise to add these 2 things to the save file, but I don't think I actually have to. Let's just see. Sub-image counter and sub-image. So now they're declared, but they're not being set to 0 every frame. So now the sub-image counter will keep increasing. And you see how they change from yellow to blue. That's just saying now we know these aren't temporary variables. These are just object variables. So they've gone up a step. The stream stopped? Oh, you thought the stream stopped. Apparently, no, it says stream healthy, no problem so far. I mean, Spectrum has dropped me before. Oh my god! Babe, T, honey, are you watching? Are you watching? Look at this. Look at this. Look at what happens when I pick up a coin. It's not fully there what you said, but look what happens. That coin is spinning. Should I increase the spin? Or is that good? Because if you look at it on the floor, they're spinning like a better speed. Like boom, 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 boom. This is going boom, 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 boom. It's going da 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 da. That's going 4 frames. And then I pick it up, it goes boom, 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 boom. So I need to double the speed of its spin by adding spin and rise fast. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to we'll cut it in half then. We'll cut all of these numbers in half, and set the alarm to be half a second instead of 1 second. So now instead of 60 frames, it only lasts for 30 frames. We increase the rise. We can increase the rise, the object menu step. So it's going to rise at, let's say, 1.5 pixels a second. And I'm almost out of time, but I think we're getting there. Let's set this to greater than 30, cut this in half to 22. This one could be 15. This can be 7. Can I use decimals here? I think I can. 22.5. Wait, hold on. 45. Yeah, 22.5. 15. That's right. I mean, it adds, yeah. It's just adding 1 exactly every frame, but essentially that's what it should look like. Let's see what happens here. Hold up, let me get this, boom, 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 put this stuff on. And then since I added new things, let me go here and hit save and return. That way I can just load from the start. Bang. Let's look again. Let me zoom in here. Boom. Like that. Boom. 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 Should that be over on top of the player? I still don't want to obstruct the player. I like it a little bit to the right. Maybe it's a little too much to the right. It's so fast you can't see it though. That's the problem. It shouldn't be too obtrusive. Like, that looks pretty good. Put it over his head. Have it start. Okay. Let's start like towards the center where it only draws above the image like for like a few frames. So let's change the X by putting that back. Let's say to X, and then the this is going to be minus. We're now subtract 40 from this 24. I'll just go like this. And the Y, we won't add the 16. And we won't add. Actually, we do want to add a little bit to this one, so we'll just add 4 for the offset. No. We want to add. We want to subtract even. Let's subtract another 16 from. Oh wait, let me just see what it looks like. I'm almost out of time, guys, but I think we added a cool little coin effect. Now I can just load and return. Boom. I like it. That looks good. Alright, I think that's it. Now we kill creatures, they drop a coin, it's worth a random value from 1 to 5, it spins, we pick up the coin, it spins above the head. I feel like it could last a little bit longer, but it doesn't need to. It's not really that big of a deal, it's just long enough that if you wanted to see like how many coins you picked up, it's enough to know. There's still a little bug with the way that I'm spawning enemies. You can see that all. I think that looks good. Alright, final feature added for this stream. Good suggestions, everybody. My wife and Jacob Mann. Thank you. Hello, Rythane. How are you doing? Thank you guys for coming to the live stream. Thank you for watching the first impression, and thank you so much for sticking around after the first impression to work on my game. I will be doing this a lot more often. I'll play the games until I either beat them or 2 hours expires. If they end early, then I'll just work on my project for the rest of the live stream until I have to go. And that's how I'll show off my progress on whatever I'm working on. I still use RPG Maker. I'm going to continue to use GMS2 after I start working on Godot stuff. Yeah, right now I'm trying to finish a nice project that I can be proud of in GMS2. And yeah, if you like what I do, you want to support me, I have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/driftwoodgaming. You can like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want more stuff like this. If you want to see first impressions, I've got lists and lists of them, lots of tutorials for different engines. And yeah, thank you so much. If you want to come hang out, we got a Discord. Link is in the description below. If you want to download some of the games I've made for free, they are in the description below. You can go to my itch page. And yeah, thank you guys so much for showing up. We'll see you guys on Monday. I stream Monday through Friday, 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, as long as Spectrum lets me. As long as my ISP says you may pass, then I will do it. And thank you guys. Appreciate it. I'm going to go through the comments real quick and then end the stream. The baby's doing very well. She is becoming more and more vocal. She's a little stinker, and I love her. Thank you, Rythane, for stopping by. Jacob Mann, a pleasure. Of course, my lovely wife. Appreciate you. Love you. Cyphus, thank you for stopping by. Good luck on your game, and be sure to promote it on the Discord. Links in the description. Laka-Look, thank you so much for stopping in. Alexander Burkow, thank you so much. Everybody who's lurking but not talking, I still appreciate you. Volpe, thank you so much for stopping in. SE Games, didn't see you earlier, sorry about that, but I'm glad you stopped by, thank you so much. Oh no, I did see you. Yeah, you made the comment about the Crystallis inspired sprite, yeah. Trueborn, thank you so much. Boro B, always a pleasure. Kyle, good suggestion about putting the icon, and Jacob Mann, both of you together, the combined suggestion of changing the font to be red and show an icon instead of just making the color depending on the element. That's a good change, and I'll work on getting that in there. Vero Claw, thank you so much. Snoozish, got your name. Ghostly, thank you so much. Ahmed Falahi, thank you so much. Anthony Browning, always a pleasure. Werewolf CZ, love you, my dude. And one more person here. No, 2 more people. D757 Gaming, thank you so much if you're still here. Anthony Browning, Peter Apple. Bye, guys. We'll see you on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend. Get lots of stuff done and show it off on the Discord. Bye-bye.